As warned, the opposition held a united protest today in front of the Prime Minister's office as the DP leader Lulzim Basha and SMI chair Monica Kurumadhi demanded the removal of Edi Rama. A number of symbols were used in today's protest to send messages from citizens for the removal of the Prime Minister, including a giant crown of cannabis leaves and brooms to sweep Rama out of government. In an interview for Euroactive, Prime Minister Edi Rama warned that the opening of negotiations with the European Union must not be postponed, as this would cause damage across the entire region. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Saturday the 27th of January 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to give you the day's top stories translated into English from across the country. The opposition gathered citizens in front of the Prime Minister's office to seek the removal of government, considering it as being incriminated and immersed in corruption. Leader of the Democratic Party, Lulzim Basha, has spent weeks calling people together from all over the country to protest against the Edi Rama government. Today, he continued to rally this call. It is the people's decision for an anti-mafia government. Rama to resign, boomed Basha. He added that his intention is not personal power, despite him being the head of the protest. Chair of the SMI, Monica Kurumadhi, said the Prime Minister has been left all alone, surrounded only by criminals and the corrupt, before stating, "I apologise, as we have given Rama a chance to mock us Albanians." Today was the first in what the opposition has warned will be a wave of protests to continue until the removal of Prime Minister Edi Rama. Despite being a critic of DP Chair Lulzim Basha, Astrid Patosi has joined the opposition's protest. In an exclusive interview for Aura News, Patosi said that the only way to remove this government is with the determination of citizens. He even expressed desire that the protest escalate from marching, turning into an unstoppable protest that goes beyond the parties. Today, I have come, along with thousands of others, who have a manifestation against the government. There are 1,000 reasons today that this government should leave. But even if there were only one, I would still be here, because this is my country. The important thing is that this is more than a protest by political parties. It is a protest of citizens. We must become an unstoppable force that requires this government to leave. I wish very much for this to happen, declared Patosi. Asked about citizen participation in the protest, Patosi said he prefers not to talk numbers. "I am one of the protesters. It seems to me that it is a massive protest, a good protest. I do not prefer to speak for numbers because there must be impartiality to talk about the number of protesters, like you, the press, for example," said Astrid Patosi. The opposition's protest was joined by some well-known figures, such as Ridvan Bode, and some persons who had previously been excluded from electoral lists, such as Albina Deda, Arbiola Halimi, and Igli Tsara. A new addition to the protest today was the LED screen placed in front of protesters used to broadcast video messages. This included one from the former anti-drug chief of Vlora's police, Dritan Zagani. Currently being protected as an asylum seeker in a foreign land, Zagani declared his desire to return to Albania, explaining that he wants to participate in the operation to overthrow the rulers that he accuses of being involved in narcotics trafficking. "It is not my choice to be on the run. I am in this situation because I tried to stop the Habilais. Saimir Tahiri in Parliament doesn't seem right, does it? I want to come back and I will be back. I do not want criminals and gangs to be in charge of my country," he exclaimed. Even immigrants living in France shared their messages for the Rama II government via video, showing the tent city they have chosen to live in as refugees abroad in preference to the life here in Albania. The latest protest by the opposition made all the difference for the many that were present. Participants from across the districts placed the licence plate number from the car of former Minister of Interior Saimir Tahiri Tahiri's car, which was sold to the Habilai brothers on their cars and vans. The vehicle with the licence plate AA003GB, according to interceptions by the Italian prosecutor's office, has since been used for the purpose of narcotics trafficking. A special inclusion in today's protest was also a giant crown of cannabis leaves spanning a 2-metre diameter and featuring portraits of Edi Rama, Saimir Tahiri, Moisi Habilai, Emiliano Shulazi, Lul Berisha and Clement Balili. Many chose to dress as figures who are known to be related to crime, wearing prison uniforms. The SMI youth chose baking pans with photos of Prime Minister Edi Rama inside as their symbol of protest. Brooms also featured as a symbol of protest, with young Democrats declaring they will sweep Edi Rama out of government. The opening of negotiations with the European Union should not be postponed, as this would damage the entire region. In an interview for Euroactiv, Rama said that Albania expects a green light for this process and that there is no reason to believe that there will be any form of postponement. He even argued that should this process be further postponed, it would in fact legitimise tensions between the Balkan countries, particularly between countries such as Serbia and Montenegro, who are further along in the process, and the remaining. Among others, Rama underlines that opening talks will increase security and give control of land and airspace to Europe. On the other hand, the Albanian Prime Minister calls for assurances that third parties will not be allowed to play around or create grey areas in the middle of Europe. Regarding countries for which scepticism remains over membership consideration, the Prime Minister says that underestimating the Balkans would be a big mistake, as the EU cannot sleep quietly with the Balkans at its door. Regarding Kosovo's recognition by Belgrade, he has argued that finding a solution is indispensable and a condition for Serbia to join the EU. The Berlin process for states within the region is also considered an important step in the development and stability of the countries. The iconic castle in the museum city of Berat will now be easily accessible to visitors thanks to a plan to reconstruct the 2 main road passages. Thanks to support from the World Bank, the Çafa-e-Kalas Street and the next access from the entrance of Berat to the castle neighbourhood will both be reconstructed. The Mayor of Berat, Petrit Sinai, explains that interventions will preserve the authenticity of Berat's cobblestone streets. Investment will help to facilitate the development of tourism, declared Sinai. Berat is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with local leaders focused on improving infrastructure as part of a greater overall emphasis on prioritising tourism. The entry price for the Butrint National Park has now been unified for all visitors at the rate of 700 lek per person. The decision by the Ministry of Culture was implemented back on the 1st of January. The director of the park, Gjergj Mano, has confirmed the increase mainly affects domestic visitors who previously paid 300 lek. However, the decision also means the removal of the discounted group price for foreigners, sparking reactions from tour operators. They say the issue is not the value of the ticket, but the fact the decision has come into effect at a time when they have already closed deals with foreign collaborators for the 2018 year. Chairman of the Association of Tour Operators in Saranda, Arben Chipa, says that there was no consultation with local operators nor any announcement prior to the change taking effect. It does pose a risk of a negative effect on tourism, suggested Chipa. The offer reducing the price for group tourists was only available if the group exceeded 30 visitors in total. During 2017, the National Park of Butrint was visited by about 170,000 people, both citizens of Albania and foreign tourists. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening. Be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you, good night, and have a lovely weekend.